Hi, I'm Suki. Welcome to Getting Psychic, where you can listen to me use myself to test the theory that anyone can get psychic. Hello and welcome to Getting Psychic. I'm here with my guest Dana Kippel. Dana is a polymath, author, filmmaker, futurist, and advocate for mental health and neurodivergence, pioneering the study of plasma intelligence and consciousness. Her groundbreaking work explores plasma as a bridge between dimensions, shaping human perception and unlocking new human potential. In her new book, A New Force, Plasma, Consciousness, and the New Human Potential, Dana reveals that plasma is not only around you, it's within you, responding to your thoughts, emotions, and awareness. Welcome, Dana. Thank you for joining me on Getting Psychic.
I'm excited to be here. I love the name.
Thanks. It's working. So you're joining us from Portland, Oregon, right?
Yes. I just moved here a few weeks ago and I'm loving it.
Why did you move there?
Honestly, this was the first time in my life where I had no actual direction of like where to go. Like I moved to Los Angeles because I had a food business and I was brought out there. I had moved to Florida because I went to rehab when I was like 20. I never had like real authority over where I was going, and I've never been on my own making that decision. And I was at my mom's. I just finished writing my book, and I was like, I could go anywhere. Where the heck am I going to go? And it just came to me as like Portland, and like it like felt expansive. My soul knew it. And then when I moved here, I found a poem I wrote when I was in Cannon Beach about Portland, saying that I knew I'd always live here, which was like 2 years ago. So it's almost like I was remembering my future, and it gave me chills. So I was meant to be here. The first day I met here, I met a cute guy. Who knows what will happen, but it was weird. I met friends already. Like, I feel like this just doesn't happen because I'm usually like all on my own. Yeah.
Amazing. That makes me so happy for you. That's so cool. Okay.
It's weird.
So what are your multiple areas of expertise or extensive study, Dana?
Sure. So as most people, at least who follow me know, I, never went to college. I was smart. I am smart. I do think though that anyone in touch with their soul that's the definition to me of a genius, or what I call myself, a polymath. Basically, I'm just in touch with my soul. I'm in touch with my higher self, and I kind of just let things glide on through that I'm supposed to express in this world, right? So my authentic self is my genius, I would say. I think everyone has that capability, not just me. And with that said, my areas of research are plasma intelligence, which we'll get more into, I'm sure, consciousness. I do love quantum physics and biophysics. I also am kind of creating my own field more on the study of like quintessence, or this etheric plasma, which I call holonic metadynamics, which I have not spoken about a lot yet. And then just the study of like human potential and futurism, and where our magic is headed, kind of when we are starting to discover reality is more malleable. Okay, if it's malleable, how do we dance with that malleability with our consciousness in a way that's aligned with our soul versus our ego? And what does healing have to do with that all? So I also study obviously mental health and trauma healing and nervous system regulation, all of those things.
Yeah.
And fun and laughter.
Yeah, I love it. That's perfect. I read about at least most of those things in your book.
Yeah. Yes. A New Force, Plasma, Consciousness, and the New Human Potential. And it's 740 pages.
It's not only 740 pages. The pages are like 8 by 10.
I know.
So if you have time to read 4 books,
I know.
Please pick it up.
I know why the publishers like only let people write like 300 pages. I know it's intimidating, but I will say it is more of like a textbook for like this plasma reality, but it is, and you can probably speak to this, it's very understandable. It's not like a high grade reading level, and you can open it up whenever you feel like it. It's meant to kind of read over time. It's not meant to binge read. But I think anything you open to will kind of crack your mind open.
Yeah. No, I think it's important. I think everyone should read it, and should attempt. It's pretty awesome. Okay,
Thank you.
so can you give us? I mean, I'm sure you're book touring and interviewing all about plasma all the time. So I
Yeah.
kind of want to learn a little bit more about you as a person, but I
Cool.
would love for you to give us a baseline understanding of plasma and why
Yeah.
it became important for you to write your book.
Yeah. So I didn't know what plasma was my entire life. I was just being a normal human. Well, no, I was never normal. I was being
No,
a
you weren't.
weird, yeah, I was being a weird human, not knowing what plasma was though. Anyway, all of a sudden, long story short, when I was like 30, 31, I was meditating. I just had started after a few days of meditation. All of a sudden, I just had this like gnosis, you would call it, or this knowing that plasma was intelligent. It is the vehicle for consciousness, and it is what our reality is made out of. Now, most people, when they think of plasma, think of the fourth state of matter. So there's solid, liquid, gas, and plasma. They think they maybe have heard of free electrons in plasma being, above a gaseous state, a high energy state. They may have heard of plasma being lightning. It is what makes up the northern lights. It is what makes up neon signs. That is a cold plasma. Uh, it also makes up 99.9% of our visible matter universe. I go into my book and talk about how plasma is actually multidimensional. It is a finer plasma, like a living ether that makes up the fabric of our reality, and it shares the same behaviors as the plasma we study in science. So, learning about plasma in science and the dynamics and the relationship it has with electromagnetism, we can also apply how our plasma reality has a relationship to consciousness using the same kind of behaviors and dynamics. So I don't think that scientists are realizing they're basically studying like the clay of God, right? So it's just like I view it as like this multidimensional, intelligent, living substance that is always in flux. You can also call it love, ether, whatever you want to call it. Everyone calls it whatever. But the word plasma actually means to mold, which is why I love that name. So, our reality is moldable by our consciousness. Hence, plasma is the vehicle for consciousness. It is like the divine feminine mirror that lets the divine masculine consciousness experience itself and create the divine child, which is reality. So yeah, that's kind of it in a nutshell.
All right, interview done. The first time I read about plasma was actually in one of a biofield tuning book, the Eileen Day
Oh,
McCusick.
and I love her. That was actually the first book I read where plasma was mentioned as well.
Really? So
Yeah.
why isn't plasma a part of our common understanding of reality?
Yeah, I mean, there has been a real and natural suppression of plasma, not only due to national security, because obviously, when you learn about plasma, you learn about fusion, and there's even stuff maybe with like anti gravity and free energy that could like disrupt capitalism and consumerism. So there's a huge element of suppression there. And then also on the metaphysical level, plasma as our divine feminine in everyone, guy, girl, whoever, our divine feminine magic, our power is this plasma. It is the vehicle for our consciousness, our biofield, right? And if we learn about this plasma, I believe it has been suppressed, which is why they've demonized the divine feminine. Mary Magdalene is called a whore. The goddesses are all sirens and scary and demons. This darker thing that's not dark has been suppressed because it is the source of our power. And if the power's in us, then no one can tell us the power's outside of us. So religion all falls apart. All the marketing products outside of you that will help you fall apart. Everything falls apart, but it really doesn't. That's just what people think, which is why it has been suppressed. And
Yeah.
it's also because science does not like bringing consciousness into science because science is most materialist. Now
Yeah.
it's becoming not. But there was natural suppression, which I write in my book in chapter 2, when they first were discovering plasma and calling it radiant matter, and then later eventually calling it plasma. There was a lot of paranormal properties they spoke of about it in the late 1800s that they just couldn't fit in a box, and they decided to like get rid of that definition of radiant matter, and then they called it ether. They disproved ether, and then they were like, oh, here's plasma and it's all about science, so they like naturally suppressed the paranormal part of plasma. Yeah, a lot of reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
I'm pissed.
Um,
I'm just kidding.
did you have any early experiences with non-physical reality in your life?
Yes. I mean, some I wished I could have and some I was having. So like
Yeah.
it's kind of funny, and I'm sure we're all like this, but like I had like very mundane paranormal experiences. I've also had very crazy ones that feel dreamlike looking back. And then I've had ones that I tried to believe were real, but actually weren't real at all. Like thinking my closet was a portal, like the Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Like my closet was not a portal, but I was convinced it was.
Yeah.
I also told all my friends I was like a vampire and a witch and a monster. None of those, which I was at the time. I was being crazy. So there was like a very big dreamer side of me that just felt like there was something, but I almost couldn't touch it, right? And then there was this other weird dynamic where I was having paranormal experiences. Like I was drawing aliens from like the age of 5. I
Yeah.
was having tantrums. Like one, this only happened once actually that I can say. But I don't know if this is true, but I remember this, that I woke up, I was very angry, and my lamp flew across my room. I
Mm.
don't know if that was me. I don't know if it was a ghost. I don't know what it was, but it was a paranormal experience. I would see ghosts. I sensed my spirit guides, but at the time I thought they were demons because I had a lot of fear. So fear was reflecting off of them.
Yeah.
Now they're all, these beautiful beings who speak to me, and they're nothing at all like demons. They're very protective. They were protecting me, and they were like my family. But I've had connection with them since I call them like fifth dimensional higher selves since I was future ancestors, I call them. Yeah, since I was a child. um I I would write poems like I was like a 80-year-old when I was 6. I wrote poems about like Schrodinger's cat, and I think I channeled stuff from a young age. And then of course recently I've had many paranormal experiences. But yeah, even as a kid I did, yeah. Just
So you say of course recently
Mhm.
because something's expanding for you?
I guess yeah, I don't know why I said that. I guess that's a good question. I guess just because the field I'm in now, like I guess I'm more open to it, right? The past 5 years I've been in this metaphysical field, whereas before I was at least trying to be a normal human, like trying to
Yeah.
fit into society and, be an actor, filmmaker, like just what I'm supposed to be. And when I started meditating is when really I started having paranormal experiences again that were positive.
Yeah.
So I've had negative ones my entire life, very bad night terrors, bad sleep paralysis, demonic entities, whatever you name it, I've had it. And then when I started meditating and healing my trauma, I started having beautiful experiences. I started having co-creative experiences where these beings were coming to me telling me beautiful things, and then also like telling me that they supported me and are working with me to create my own kind of reality, like that I'm not in full control and neither are they. It's like everything's co-creative. And I went to the Monroe Institute. I saw these like holographic little fairy like beings in my bed, and they were like telling me they were my family. And basically the through line here is that like I'm having experiences with things that are very supportive and are more neutral love, if anything. They are not good or bad. I mean, I do think they're good. They're benevolent for sure. But they're not I wouldn't say they're like our saviors, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
And I also will say that I'm sure people can relate to this too, that I've had points where I feel abandoned by these things and I'm like all on my own. And I do get the channelings, and they're like, hey, like, we're not here right now because you need to learn how to have a connection with yourself and ground into like your own sense of self. And if you're talking to us all the time, you're not going to be able to do that. But I don't
Yeah.
listen, and I'm just like, you've abandoned me. So I've had all of those.
Yeah, wow. There's a lot of sort of messaging coming through about um like lately for me this has come up and it resonates with what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're like guides, for example, or any of the entities that you just addressed.
Mm-hmm.
They're here to support us in larger ways, but they're not here to answer every question.
Yes.
They will reflect back to us like, okay, dummy, you got this one. Like
Yeah.
if I'm asking should I turn left or right, they're like, are you kidding me?
Yes. They're so whimsical. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm gonna step back for a minute,
Yeah.
and you figure out that you're our peer, and you need to be doing this, like tuning into knowing too.
Yes, and learning, even just to learning, I'm sure you'll agree with this. Sorry, my dog's annoying me.
He's so
That
cute.
like we have unlimited choices, and learning more that like we have all of. She has to gonna go in the room in a sec. We'll take a second. They basically, I feel like what they're telling us is that, okay, we can do either of those. Neither is the wrong thing. They'll all go to different future potentials. And it's like, you need to learn how to choose things and feel into them and have this courage to co create things, if that makes sense. Like, versus like thinking, I'm going to hold your hand through this and like, yeah, tell you everything to do. Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's a little annoying because I'm like, what? Like, I connected my higher self, and now all you're telling me to do is keep going. Is this fucking shit real?
No, but I feel like I know that there are people listening to this right now who need to hear that
Mm-hmm.
that it's not like you opened up this like oracle box, and now you at first you get
Answer.
addicted. Yeah,
Yeah.
you get addicted. You're like, ooh, let me consult with my guidance, but then
Yeah.
it becomes like a crutch, and you're not
Yes.
being your whole own entity.
You spiritual bypass. I spiritual bypassed it in the beginning, like because the floodgates did open, and I had these amazing visual experiences of them telling me things because I hadn't listened to them in like 30 years. So I was like, oh my God, I'm so psychic. Like I know everything. And just like anyone who's come back from an ayahuasca trip, I know how reality works.
Yeah, for like 10 minutes.
For like, yeah, and then like you have to like integrate and ground, and you realize you know nothing. And it's like we know nothing because truth always is in flux and always changes, and everything is a co-creation, everything is a story. And I, looking back, because it's a really interesting thing to ponder on, because I felt the most psychic in the beginning versus now. But
Mm-hmm.
now it's just more embodied and normal, I guess. It's more mundane.
Yeah.
And I'm probably still the same amount of psychic. It's just like, once again, addiction, chasing the dragon, addicted to spirituality. In the beginning, I think I felt more psychic and had more visual experiences. One, because I didn't have preconceived beliefs. So I do feel I was more open in that way. And I'm trying to get back to that. I will say that is an interesting thing. But then also, two, yes, I hadn't listened in so long. So there was just like so much they had to tell me. And it was just like, ah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's another good thing to point out, is that we are never arriving.
No,
We're not done.
no.
We will not be complete here.
We're not ascending to, our fifth dimensional. Like, we're already in the fifth dimension, guys. Our higher selves are there. Like, we are here now on earth. We are expanding. We are not ascending. We don't have to worry about ascending. We have to worry about like expanding our nervous system to hold more of that here, kind of, which is so difficult and annoying. And we're all human, and we all have so many problems.
We sure do.
Yeah.
Okay. So, can I mean, okay, here's the thing. What we're establishing is like
Yeah.
this whole podcast experiment is about getting psychic, but it's about tapping into the innate reality that we all just actually are.
Yeah.
It's not like a linear sort of like I accomplish stages kind of conquering thing. It's just like an observation of being what we really are.
Mm-hmm.
But so when I say, can plasma help us get psychic?
Yeah.
I want you to know that it's not implied that that's some sort of like ultimate accomplishment. I don't think that we're gonna land at a place where we're psychic enough to be completely healed and perfect. I think we established that, but I still also want to ask about the relationship with plasma and psychic.
Yeah, I think plasma is huge in that way because, at least for me, and I'm sure for many other people who will be discovering plasma is like the best cosmic mirror and like the ultimate boss of a spiritual bypasser that we've all been. Plasma, which I put the power in it first, reflected my power back to me. And also felt like this intelligent being who was like trying to tell me, I'm supporting you. I don't have the answers. Like, I hold everyone's consciousness, but like, I don't know any more than you know. I reflect things to you. Like, plasma is the like original reflector, right? And then there's like more inside of that, even is like the real answers plasma holds. It's like this weird infinity loop, are really the answers within you that you need to find. So it's like plasma's like this weird cosmic mirror fun house thing. And what it has to do with being psychic is basically the way I describe plasma as the fabric of reality. It is our own body. Like, think of consciousness as the mind, and then like what holds it is the body. Like, it's the large body of reality, right? It's the clay, and we have our own kind of plasma field. So when we're in touch with that feeling field versus the thinking field, which is I call consciousness, when we're in touch with the sentience of plasma, of the feeling before thinking, that is what our ancestors were doing. And we get back in touch with our sensory ability to tap into future potentials, to tap into what someone's vibe is versus our thought projections of them based on our past belief systems. So basically, when I feel I connect with plasma, which anyone can do, when you connect with this feeling energy, when you connect with your feelings and your senses before your thoughts, you get psychic right away, because
Yep.
you don't have any preconceived notions. You're feeling, and the more that you feel and heal your own consciousness, the more you release resistance and open up to like real truths versus seeing everything with your conscious projections. If that makes any sense.
It makes all the sense.
Okay. Yeah.
Have you ever said that plasma's God?
So it's funny. I do have a chapter in my book called A New Myth of God, but basically, I would not call plasma God, but I would say that plasma is like God's clay, and I kind of call God the mystery, because I don't think any of us know what God is. Like, I call God the mystery, emergent energy, a culmination. I see it as a culmination of our higher selves, all chilling in some fifth dimensional space, and they're learning about us just like we're learning about them. Like, you can call it awareness, but I just see God as, like my story, right? My story with an O is individual God, and then the mystery, which is with an E, my story feels like this like collective God. That's how I kind of see. And when we tap into that energy of God or the mystery and work with plasma in tandem, that's when you can kind of create like a life beyond your wildest dreams. But I wouldn't call plasma God. I would call it more like, yeah, like God's clay. Like, and I think it still could even be the clay that also makes up God, but I wouldn't call it God.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I would call it a female God, maybe even. Like,
Okay.
like if we're talking about like, if we're in the whole masculine and feminine thing, like just like before, like how maybe God or this awareness is more like a directing principle,
Mm-hmm.
plasma is like a feminine God and more has like the receptive principle, if that
Okay.
makes sense. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it God.
Okay. Noted.
Yeah.
Okay, it really stood out to me that you started your book with your personal journey with bullying and sexual assault in your early life.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about why it was important to you to share this part of yourself with your readers.
Yeah, I feel like I've read so many books, not where maybe people, there are a lot where people do share their humanity, but not books that are like also talking about science. Like, the author usually leaves their humanity out of it, and I don't
Absolutely.
like that. Yeah, so like I just wanted people to know, like, hey, I'm very imperfect. I have a very fucked up background, like most of you guys probably do reading this, and I have been able to like achieve this or know this or not figure this out, but like, here's what I know. And, well, hopefully it helps you, kind of thing. But I just feel like I want everyone to know, like, I'm just like you. Like, we're all just like each other. But sometimes people position themselves on a pedestal or a high horse because they feel like they're teachers and they need to guide humanity or help humanity. I think the best teacher is someone who's in the field with them, like, hey, I'm not a teacher, I'm more of a supporter, right? A mirror of your own power. So I want to kind of be that person to people where I don't ever have like followers or people who are looking up to me. I want to support everyone in their journey. And there was a really good quote, like, make I want to show people their own mastery rather than me be a master, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. That's cool.
just to relate to people and also say that, yeah, I just still have no idea what I'm doing.
Well, I don't know. To me, it just, reading that just screamed that you do know what you're doing.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. Maybe, thanks. I don't feel like I do.
Just in the sense that, like, I relate to it, and I would be like, before we started the interview, you said I'm an open book, ask me anything.
Yeah.
And I feel the exact same way, because I feel like our hardships can be platforms for our own healing, but they can also help other people heal.
Yeah.
So if we don't say anything about them, we're not doing anyone any favors.
I 100% agree. And even still, it's like, I wrote this book, and like just last night, I had like a little crash out hardship. It's like the hardships never end, right? Like, no matter how much you know, no matter how much outward success you have, and I'm sure I'm climbing the ladder still in that, whatever the heck. Success to me means freedom. So I actually feel successful already. But like, whatever monetary success I'm starting to gain, and emotional success, it's like I'm still learning so much every day. I still make so many mistakes. I still, no matter how authentic I can be in front of a large stage of people, my trouble is being authentic and honest with like one person I'm very attached to, like a relationship or a deep friendship. Like, that's where I struggle most. And I don't know if people can relate, but like, I actually have no problem doing that on a big scale. Mine are more small scales because it feels more high stakes for me, because that has to do with my attachment issues. So, I just want people to know that, no matter how much I know about plasma and how much I really believe and stand by everything I say, like, yeah, we should never feel shame for like making mistakes or being human or having a negative emotional day just because we also know stuff. Like, Einstein and Tesla were like the weirdest, quirky people ever with a lot of relationship issues, and they like helped the world forever. So I think I just don't want anyone to get stuck in the same place I was stuck, and sometimes even still get stuck. Like, oh, I can't help the world because I'm so fucked up.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah. It's so true though, and everyone's so scared to say it because they're scared. Like, people with followings are scared, at least I'm scared, and that's why I'm making myself say this. Like, oh, if they know how fucked up I am, like, they're not going to listen to me, or they're not going to buy my book, or they're not going to believe in my science theory. And I'm like, no, you'll believe it because you guys are just like me, and I know what I'm saying is true, but I'm also really fucked up.
Oh
and I don't know how to be in relationships.
Yeah. You're fine being vulnerable on a mass level, but when it comes to intimacy,
I really struggle.
Well, you got some work to do.
Yeah, I've got some. Yeah, and that's, I'm 36, so I have a lot of time left to figure that out.
Yeah, figure it out. Okay.
Yeah.
So, something I discovered in my exploration of non-physical reality is this is completely relevant, but there seems to be some level of healing with every new layer or insight that we peel back.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that healing led you to plasma, or did forging a relationship with plasma unlock new healing for you?
I would actually say I would say it all was at the kind of same time. The intention of healing led me to plasma, and plasma also led me to my own inner power. So when I started, what was the crux for me, and it's different for everyone, is I was in a relationship. The guy lied to me. I felt betrayed. I just wanted to feel better. I wanted to heal my trauma because I realized how much it impacted me. And I started meditating with the intention that I just wanted to feel better. and I wanted to feel connected to myself because I knew I was like, something's not right where I'm so obsessed with the person I'm with and feel like I need to stay with them even if they're going to cheat on me. Like clearly there's something wrong. So then when I started meditating with the intention of just feeling better and feeling connected to myself, plasma came out of nowhere. So I know that there's like a deep ingrained thing with like plasma and the connection to self, because plasma is like this glue of the universe, right? It is what connects us to our higher self. It is that middle layer between us and our higher selves is this plasma.
Could you tell me what you mean when you say plasma came out of nowhere?
Yeah, just like, I mean, I never could have like searched out for it or studied for it, like, because I didn't even know what plasma was. Like in my meditation, it's like this thought form. It's just like all of a sudden, like bloop, and like in my head, and I just knew these things. I cannot explain it. I don't think I'll ever be able to, but I just had this knowing what plasma really was, not what people say it is, but what it really. And then I had to work my way backwards and study it in science, and then yeah, I don't, the whole process of what happened to me is still a fever dream. And here I am like 5 years later, still confused about what happened to me.
So when it came to you,
Yeah.
was it, were you using the word plasma?
Yeah, yeah, right away.
Okay.
It's kind of funny when it like came to me, it was more like my I felt like the like literally like plasma came to me, like the energy of plasma. It was like people misunderstand me.
Like it, like as an entity, it was like,
It was almost like as an end. That's how it felt, at least.
yeah,
But it also was also mixed with my higher self, who I remember spoke to me clear as day. And I wrote this down. Like I still have like the photo of it. I wonder if I could pull it up, where she was like, I'm like 3,000 years in the future. Like, you are going to write a book called A New Force. I've already written it. Like, plasma literally makes up the fabric of our reality, and everyone knows this now, and they know how to harmonize with it. But you're going to bring this into your timeline and reality in your own special way, and we're going to co-create this together. So, like, I knew all that, and I just was like, I don't want to do this, and then like, and eventually I did it. But I'm looking if I have like the first.
uh,
Oh, here. So the first kind of thing, the first, okay, so I made this in June 23rd, 2022. And that's when, and back then it was called A New Science, A New You, A New Force. But even back then I knew I was, you know, writing this book.
this
Yeah.
is long before you made the book.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I
So,
started writing the actual book in January of this year ish.
okay, so Dana just showed me an image of basically like a mock book cover, right?
Yes.
That you made years ago. Wait, you started this book in January?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the idea was all in my head, right, for like the last 5 years. But the when my dad died January 23rd, he fell into a coma in December, and like my entire life got upended, and I moved to Florida with my mom to help her, and then
Yeah.
he ended up dying. And like around that grief window, I was like, something just snapped at me, and I was like, I need to live my life like for my destiny, not to be like a famous actress. I was like, what am I doing? Like, I know I'm meant to write this book. I know I'm meant to help people. I just need to, like, I could die tomorrow. Like, this is screaming to get out of me. The idea won't leave me. Like, let me just write it. And then the next 9 months were a blur. And then I wrote it, edited it, and then put it out in September. Yeah.
That's insane. So you just dumped it out
Dumped.
in that short amount of time.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it felt so long. If it literally, it's funny. It's like a birth, right? Because it was 9 months. Like, I literally
Yeah.
felt like I almost died giving birth to that book. Like, I went through every body pain you can imagine. I almost went to a psych ward in June because when I finished the book, I had like a mental health crisis because I don't know why. It was like, I have a lot of past life memories, and
Mm-hmm.
I have had so many lifetimes I remember where I was either killed before I was able to put my work out there, or I was like burned at the stake for magic, or I
Yeah.
was poisoned because I had or an invention I made was stolen from me. I've lived so many lives not living my potential. And
Yeah.
when I finished at least the first draft of the book, I was so scared I was going to get killed just because of past life stuff. I'm alive, literally I'm fine.
Yeah.
That it really affected me, and like my body was in like fear and survival mode. So like I writing the book was the most beautiful and horrific time of my life.
That weirdly makes sense
Yeah.
that
I
that would go hand in hand.
Yeah. I had so much resistance to it. Yeah, it was like literally giving birth and almost being murdered at the same time. Yeah.
So when you say that you like a lot of people are have awarenesses of their past lives, but maybe not direct awarenesses, maybe
Yeah.
through people who have told them like, "Oh, you have a
Yeah.
past or a concurrent life, yada yada." Is that your experience with it, or is your awareness through your own remembrance?
No, yeah, I've never had like a past life, like someone tell me who I was in my past life. I mean, one time someone told me I was like brought scrolls from like Atlantis to Egypt. Like that resonated with me, but I had zero memory of that. So I was like, okay, ma'am.
Yeah, it's not
Um,
doing anything for you.
yeah, I was like, okay, cool, great story to tell. But and she could have been right. I just had no real memory of it. So to me, it felt like it was total bullshit. But I actually don't think it was now. But um, the way this is actually a nod to my therapist who I put in the book. Her name is Elisa Elkin Cleary. She does something called comprehensive resource model, a mix of that, somatic therapy, internal family systems, and parts work. And I've had some past life memories before working with her. When I was a child, I wrote about a life I had as an actress named Dorothy Gish, and everything I wrote to a T happened to her happened in my life in a weird way. Like, okay, so when she was, I believe, 15 on Thanksgiving Day, she got hit by a car, and I got hit by a car when I was 15 on Thanksgiving Day. So, like, just there is, and she was like a filmmaker, comedian. She died of some kind of like throat thing. I have a
Wait,
throat tick. Yeah.
hold up. So you wrote about Dorothy Gish as a child.
I wrote that I was her. I was like, hey, I'm Dorothy. Like, I'm filming a movie in 1921 with my sister Lillian. Like, I don't have to be an extra. I get my first starring role. We're going to Mamaroneck with this guy named Griffith, and all of that. I found this when I was 26. It all checked out. Like
You did research on this actual person and validated that was true?
all of it was true. Yeah, that she was went from being an extra to a starring role in that like 1921. I still have this letter.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
So like I had that kind of stuff, which gave me. And the weirdest part was the getting hit by the car. It's like I could not have orchestrated that. Like that was fucking weird. And the fact that I became a filmmaker, like, and I love comedy. But that, besides that, and like having maybe some other kind of past life memories that I did write little stories about, like being a mermaid, but whatever. Like when I started working with my therapist on regressing into trauma, mine went into other lifetimes. And I remember them so much so, even one where I was a star and I was a little piece of a star that exploded and like was sad about my family to
Yeah.
like being this like princess on this planet who got like kidnapped by a rat demon because she committed suicide. Like it sounds like weird fantastical things, but the point was I processed trauma in these lives and really cried and like had like torturous emotions that I was able to process from them, and like it made sense like why my life now certain things have happened. So like it all makes sense, and that's all that matters, and I was able to heal it and like not have the same patterns in my life now continue because I healed these past life things that like I had that like went basically all she had to do is bring me back to the feeling in my body, and the memories came out of me. She did not tell me anything about these memories. She just
Yeah.
held space for me as I recounted trauma and these memories. And thinking about it, it's really wild and weird to think about. But I've had, I would say over like 20 past life memories I've gone through with her. Yeah.
So is this therapist used to going to past lives, or does she usually focus on normal people that just have their
Yeah,
current
I
lives?
know that I'm sure she is more focused on normal life people, but I do know that she's familiar with the past life stuff and it's not like foreign to her.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think, she did tell me that some of the stuff I don't know. I don't know. I'm sure she has done that with other people and is versed in that, but I can tell that maybe it's not like a natural occurrence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's not like a past life regression specialist.
No, I don't even think that's anywhere on her website. I mean, if
It
it is,
just
it is.
happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
She did bring up going to past lives though. Like she also has brought that up. But yeah, I don't think it's like,
Yeah.
for
Okay.
she
So
tries it with people and it doesn't work for some people. Like it just worked right away for me. So she's like the perfect fit for me. Yeah.
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right. So you mentioned plasma leading us to our inner power.
Yes.
Can you talk about that in like an instructive way for our audience,
Yeah.
how can plasma lead me to my inner power, Dana?
Yeah, it's funny. I'm still discovering that on a deeper level too, like what I call plasma magic or like this future human potential. Basically, our consciousness works with this plasma to co create reality, right? So, performing impossible feats that we once thought, like telepathy or manifesting, immaterial into material, remote viewing. These are all things that happen in the field of plasma. So, and there's also, I think, a lot of like magic powers or like synesthesia has to do with plasma. It's like seeing the
Yeah.
colors in the plasma field, right? And there's so many things that have to do with plasma and magic that I don't even think we've discovered. And basically, what I feel and think, and I think I'll progress more into teaching within the next year with my magic classes. The first one I'm doing is December 8th at 6 p.m. PST, and that's on my at the link in my bio. I'm sure you'll share those too. Basically, learning how to harmonize our consciousness with plasma, how to work with the behaviors of plasma, is how to be magical, is how to literally be like a living wizard or witch or whatever. I just call it a human, is human magic. So learning to harmonize with this plasma, with our consciousness, is what creates our magic, or what I call, emergent energy, which is just like, an even finer plasma than what I'm talking about. But it led me, my inner power is my inner magic. It is my inner divine feminine. It is everyone's inner divine feminine. And I'm probably repeating myself again, but yes, there are specific things I'll talk about and will materialize more in the future about. And I think also I cannot tell everyone exactly how to do this. You have to learn your own personal magic, but by making this relationship with plasma in your own unique way, you will discover your own personal magic, whether it is telepathy, remote viewing, something that no one even knows yet. Like many people don't even know they're performing feats of magic, or like even lucid dreaming or like telling the future, because they think like everyone does it. And it's like everyone doesn't do all these things. So there's many things to discover there, but plasma is like innately connected with our inner power and magic, because it's like literally the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So would you say this is done with intention alone?
The
The connecting with plasma or connecting with your inner magic?
I think a great first way to start, and I'm still trying to put this more in human words too, is because for me it was such an organic thing, so it's so hard. The hardest part I've had is to tell people actually how to connect with it, because for me it just happened. But I would say I would say a few ways. The number one way is what you're saying, intention, which is kind of funny because it's like intense dash ion. So any word with the last word's ion, because plasma is ionized gas. Usually anything with the word ion in it, like creation, all of those things have to do with plasma. So yes, when you set an intent with the plasma, it will, or you ask it, even questions. Curiosity is a great way. Set intention or ask a question and it will answer you, if you learn how to open a space for it to answer you. I set intention, and then I got in receptive mode. Whatever receptive mode means to you, there's many ways. There's something called creative imagination. There's something called negative capability. I speak about these things more in my book. I'm also teaching more about this in my magic class. There's meditation ion. All
Mm-hmm.
these things get you in this listening receptive mode to receive your intention back, for it to boomerang back to you something, right? And then the other way, which I really learned at Monroe Institute, even though they don't call it plasma, is getting into your heart coherence or your heart energy. When you drop into presence, or you're coherent in your heart energy, like you're in a state of awe, curiosity, gratitude, love, unconditional love, you feel the plasma. I mean, you just feel like you're buzzing. You're not really thinking about what you're doing today or tomorrow, what you did in the past. You're one with this. Like when people have blissful experiences, I believe that that's when their consciousness is one with this plasma. So yeah, I would say those are just some ways. There's many more. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so your magic classes that you keep referencing,
Yeah.
are they classes where you talk about connecting with plasma?
Yeah, so I'll talk about this much more. And I'm still like working on the lesson plan, which is why I can't even really formulate what the heck I'm saying yet. And I do write a lot about this stuff in my book too. But basically, if you don't want to read a 700-page book, I have my first, so they're going to be live workshops because I feel like just classes, I'd be boring just recording myself. I want people to like ask questions and communicate with me. So it's a live workshop and Q&A where I'm just going to present with like slides in the background and just, do my little old channeling. Just who knows what the heck I'm going to say. I'll have some structure talking about more like how to get yourself in connection with plasma and with your higher self, more about what this plasma is, about human magic. And I'm basically going to do, one of these a month. And then there also is a live Q&A for an hour and a half where people can just basically, because I never can answer my DMs, if people want to talk to me about this is how to ask me anything. Because who knows what I'll even say? I don't know. Right. I wish I did, but most of this just comes through me. So I have no clue. But yeah, so the first one is December 8th. It's the magic of plasma and consciousness. I think it's called healing, creating, and connecting with the fifth element. I should know
Cool.
that, but I don't remember. And that's in my stand store and on my website and on my social media. And that's like, 3-hour thing. And it's like $88, which is pretty good because people charge like $300 for those things.
Yeah,
I just
great.
wanted to make sure it was like accessible. And then, I'm going to do one of those a month. And my next one, I really want to help people with fear because my biggest challenge in life has been fear.
Yeah.
And fear kind of decoheres your connection with plasma and makes you manifest just unlucky stuff because fear is annoying. So I kind of want to share with people how fear is actually a flow state, and fear is actually the gateway to access your flow state, and that fear and flow are the same thing. Fear and love are two sides of the same coin. So I'm going to get more into, if you're very fearful like me, how to almost use that as an access to your power instead of, running rampant on anxiety and depression and fear.
I love that. Okay. I need this.
Yes.
How is fear a flow state?
So fear I'm right. This is, should I say this? I
Yes.
may or may not be writing a book on this, but I'm not telling people when I'm done because I don't want to pressure myself. It's going to be way shorter though. Very easy book to read. Back in the day when the word fear was created by humans, we're attaching a word to a feeling, right?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
actual meaning of fear meant flow. So basically there is this flow state, this unknown state, this plasmatic, juicy thing that consciousness has assigned the word fear to because we're scared of the unknown. We want to control everything. We are in survival mode. But really, that fear is really love of life. That is where all our power is. And there are ways when you're feeling fear to almost like hack that and kind of settle into what's beneath the fear, which is really just like self and flow.
Okay, give one way.
This is one way. Get curious. So, for instance, I'm trying to think of something without revealing too much personal shit about myself right now, because this is too like the person will know I'm talking about them. Because the last thing I dealt with. Let me think about another one. So, okay, I have a fear of. I'm trying to think of one of my fears. I have a lot of fears. I have a fear of dying. I have a fear of getting sick, even though I'm very healthy. So instead of like letting that overtake me when I get sick, when I like start to notice I have an itchy throat, instead of being like, oh God, like I'm gonna have to go to the doctor, I'm like letting yourself kind of run rampant with fear, you get curious. You ask, what am I really afraid of? What are you trying to tell me? And like in that case, with my fears trying to tell me like a lot of things, this is why it's kind of complex, but like maybe it's reminding me how much I love life. Maybe it's just a call back to trusting life. Maybe it is a signifier that I'm not sick, and maybe I've just been talking too much the day before and I need a rest. Like fear we don't have to project fear into the future and make it this thing where we're like really going to die. It is more of like a messaging system. And also when you get curious and start asking fear questions and you settle more into that, this is kind of like a meditative thing. And I swear I'll make this way more clear in a class. You almost start to when you enter the fear and let it kind of encompass you. And I learned this from this woman named Gangaji, who's like this beautiful teacher. When you dive into the fear and let it encompass you and don't assign it the name fear, you actually start to realize that that fear is just like love surrounding you. And as you kind of get curious and kind of like settle into the fear you're having, at least for me, I've had the most transcendent experiences where I realize that like we never die. And I like almost meet that fear. And when I meet that fear, the fear is just my mind chattering, trying to survive. When what's really beneath that is just love and flow. And that everything is always technically okay, even though it never feels like it. And there's just ways to also get into that, very actionable, easy ways when you're in fear with anything, which I'll go through, where you can use that as an opening to actually gain more wisdom and knowledge rather than projecting it into the future and thinking you're like of worst case scenarios. And the reason I can help with these things so much is because I go through them. So I'm still actively researching this myself
Yeah.
because I'm like one of
Yeah.
the most fearful people I've ever met in my life.
That's amazing. I love that
I
description.
wish I could use the one I had last night, but it was like would be a dead giveaway, so I can't.
It would be inappropriate.
Bad.
Okay, so I want to wind down, but I feel like this has been coming up a lot lately for me, so
Yeah,
I want to talk about being an outsider, never feeling like you belong,
me.
and
Mhm.
and also ultimately using that as your superpower. I don't want to guide you with your relationship with not belonging, but
Yeah.
I want you to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, I still to this day struggle with that because, there's a spiritual community, right? And there's, metaphysical, there's mental health community, there's all these communities. I don't really fit in any of them. So I completely think it's a superpower because I at least never have to be blocked into just spirituality or mental health. Like I'm just Dana figuring Dana stuff out. And if it resonates with people, maybe in 5 years, which I'm going to do, I'm going to make a fantasy book. Then if I was locked into that spiritual community and now all of a sudden I'm writing a fantasy book, that's not going to translate, but like basically, I think not fitting in is your superpower of freedom
Yeah,
and of being able, like, I can be friends with whoever I want because I don't have like to keep up appearances. Like I could be friends with someone who's not like the perfect person because I just value their authenticity and I'm not like Mother Teresa. Like I also think that fitting in is like a sham
definitely
because
overrated.
yeah, and like, hey, like, listen, like, I want it, but what is even that, right? And like, when I really think to myself, because I think this all the time, I wish I had a core group of friends. I want to fit in, but then like, I know if I had a core group of friends, I would just get bored and want to make new friends. Like, I think it's just about what it really is about is craving warmth and something I'm missing within me that I'm still working on. And I think the more I learn the warmth and community of my own self, the more I'll be able to stand alone and people will resonate with me. And that then all of a sudden you're not an outsider, like you have a bunch of people listening to you and people following you. And I think it's an illusion. Even if you think this, I think it's an illusion we are telling ourselves, and then plasma reflects that illusion when really like we're not outsiders per se, we're just our authentic selves and we're always changing and growing, so we're not always going to fit in with the same group.
Yeah,
And yeah, we're just awesome, but I just think it's a weird illusion. It's one of those
yeah,
things where it's like, for me, I'm always like, okay, how does that serve me? Like I'm sitting in this misery right now, and like why am I letting myself think that I'm an outsider? Because I do this all the time. And usually it's almost like it's a good question. When I tell myself I'm an outsider, it's almost like a way of protecting myself
yeah.
or some kind of control I have. I don't really know. Yeah.
No, yeah, that makes sense. But it's weird because as you're talking, I'm seeing
Hmm.
it, and I think that I have this relationship
Hmm.
with it at this stage of my life, but
Hmm.
it is a superpower, thereby sort of necessitating a new term. Like,
Yeah.
like it's like ultimate empowerment and independence
Yeah.
leaves you with very few places to fit in.
Yeah, right. And like we don't even want to fit in, but here we are wanting to fit in. And I like it's just so funny because it's such a paradox. And I think at the core of it is really just having the courage to stand on your own and having the courage to let people come to you. And I think I've always chased others and chased community, and I've never been able to kind of settle into the fact that I could build my own. And I think I'm just starting to, even though it may look like I already have one. I don't feel that way because I'm delusional, obviously, and I still think I'm an
Obviously.
and I still think I'm an outsider. But I think when it really comes down to it, it is stripping all that away and just being.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, why did you call yourself Dana the Alien as your Instagram handle?
Because also because I was adopted, like I've had a lot of things like where I felt like an alien. Like in my family, I felt like an alien. I knew I wasn't like blood related to anyone, and I didn't feel compatibility with, my parents growing up, even though I do love them so much and they did a lot of amazing things for me. There was not compatibility in a lot of levels. And I never had a core group of friends. I had friends that would move away every year. I was bullied, or, I look back, I talked to my one friend in elementary school who I have still talked to once in a while. And she's like, you were so fun to hang around. Like everyone loved you. I'm like, really? Because I feel like everyone fucking hated me and I literally had no friends. So I don't know what reality you're in. But it's just weird thinking about all that stuff. But in my mind, the story I've told myself my entire life is I'm an alien. So that is why I called myself that. And it's the more and more I'm, doing this work on myself, I am an alien, but we are all aliens and we're also all humans. And I think is once again, I just have to stop telling myself the story of separation or inclusion and just be me and like let what comes come and what leaves. That's why I'm thinking it's a control mechanism for myself. Because it's like instead of just letting myself fly and seeing what happens, I'm like telling myself all these stories.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally know. Wow. I think that's a really good point of reflection to leave people with.
Mm-hmm.
Like you guys, think about all the stories you're telling yourself. Write them down. Look at them. Take them out and look at them. And see where you land.
Yeah. And you know what makes up those stories is plasma.
I knew you were going to say that.
I know. I always bring it back to plasma, but plasma is the substance that we create our stories with. It is, the my story. So why not open to the mystery of plasma and just be and treat it more as a co-creative experience than a victim story that most of us do without realizing it. Like, let's create our stories and just co-create our life with plasma and see what we want to, if I feel like an outsider, okay, cool. But like, what do I want to be? And like, let's move towards that.
Yeah.
What I want is like a friend I can call that will come here at 3 a.m. I don't need too many of them, but like, do I have that right now who could show up here? No, I don't know anyone in Portland in that level, right? So like this helping me right now, I want to create a friend that will come over at 3 a.m. if I'm having a panic attack. So that's what I would like.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll have that in about 5 minutes.
Now, because I asked for it, but if you don't know what you want, you don't get it. So yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, cool. I love that. All right. Well, I'm so grateful that you were able to come talk to me, and it was super fun.
Yes, this was fun. Okay, everyone buy my book, A New Force. Woohoo!
Now we're getting into the marketing section.
Sorry. This is marketing, Dana. I have my marketing hat on. And my classes are on my website and my Instagram, and I'm sure she will have the links somewhere.
Yes, I will link everything up.
Yes. Thanks
cool.
for having me.
Pleasure. Thanks so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed today's conversation as much as we did. Be sure to subscribe and follow us wherever you get your podcasts so that you never miss a new episode. If you liked today's episode, please consider leaving a review to help the other psychics find their way here.